When the Israelites pitched their tents in the plains of Moab, the king of Moab was filled with dread because of the victory the Israelites had against the Amorites, and because the number of them was very great. Understanding that he couldn't defeat them in physical battle, he called for a prophet by the name of Baalam to come and curse the Israelites that he might get victory over them in battle. Balaam inquired of God if he could curse the Israelites, but God told him he couldn't, and had Balaam bless them instead. Now King Balak was very upset at Balaam blessing and not cursing the Israelites. But Balaam explained that he couldn't do anything that God wouldn't allow because the people were his people. But Balaam, eager to get the great sum of money that King Balak offered him for cursing the Israelites, used what he knew of God to come up with a plan to get Balak the victory he wanted. Balaam told Balak of his idea to lead the children of Israel into rebellion against the Lord by luring them into the worship of Moabite gods and fornication. Now this strategy by the enemies of Israel to have them taint themselves with the things that God forbids has been the cause of some of their nation's greatest sins and consequently their greatest defeats. Throughout the Bible, God warns Israel of the danger and consequences of committing the sins of the nations that surround them. Even though they were warned countless times, Israel continued to be lured into sinful behavior and suffered dearly at the hands of wicked kings, queens, and oppressive foreign governments. America finds itself being attacked in the very same manner by enemies who have been working for decades at eroding the standards of decency through the introduction of increasingly lewd and tantalizing television shows, movies, literature, and music. Love songs no longer speak of commitment and loyalty, but of the physical act of sexual union. In films, magazines, and television, women are degraded and portrayed as mere objects of desire, while the traditional family unit has been replaced by more modern concepts of family that support and encourage alternative lifestyles, promiscuity, and casual sex. So complete and masterful has the shaping of the collective conscience of America been that women themselves are now embracing sexual objectification as a means of expressing and empowering themselves. War and violence, once looked upon as a necessary evil to protect the lives of our family and nation, has become the opiate that parents and children call entertainment. Violence in television, video games, and movies has reached such a level of realism that we as a people have become desensitized to scenes of death and destruction so horrific that they would have literally driven past generations to sickness, leaving them screaming and crying in horror at what they had just witnessed. For hours upon end each day, parents allow their children to self-medicate themselves with extreme acts of violence in the form of video games. With every new digitally simulated kill, another piece of childhood innocence and respect for life ebbs and fades, all as a torrent of machine gun fire is drowned out by laughter and foul language as they strive to unlock more powerful and deadly weapons. With control of such industries and institutions as television and news media, entertainment and gaming, cunning men have created a culture so steeped in violence and sexuality that by the time a child is 18, he or she will have seen 200,000 violent acts, 16,000 murders, and more than 1 million scenes of a sexual connotation or innuendo. These men, like King Balak of old, hold to the doctrine and counsel of Baalam, for they know that no power, whether it be force of arms or curse, can prevail against a nation whose people belong to the Lord. Therefore it is with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life that these men bombard the eyes and ears of Americans, waging a covert war against their souls. For they know that once men who call upon the name of the Lord do that which is evil in God's sight, and turn from following the righteousness of his commandments, that the Lord's judgment will deliver them into cruel bondage of oppression and servitude. If God is truly the author of our freedoms and liberties, then it is only by displeasing him that they may be lost. For America to be saved, the Christians of this nation must repent of their sins and turn from their love of the world and all of its poisonous entertainment. In 2 Chronicles 7:14, God made a promise to Solomon, that if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. That promise is based on the people who are called by his name, believers, repenting of their sins, and turning from their wicked ways. It is not a call for those that hate God to repent, but those that say they love God. It is not a call urging zealots to resist or fight for their rights from an oppressive government. It is a call to admit that you have taken pleasure in things that God says he hates. It is a call to prepare to meet a righteous God, not a call to prepare for martial law. So do not listen to the zealot who counsels you to grab your gun and a copy of the Constitution, or the survivalist who tells you to build a bunker and stockpile water and rations. And especially do not listen to the unbeliever who tells you the zealot and survivalist are crazy and denounces all of their warnings as delusional conspiracy theory. For your king, the Lord Yeshua, told you in Luke 21:36 to watch therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Calamity on an unimaginable scale is coming to America and the entire world. There is nothing that can be done to prevent this from happening. There is nothing that can be done to prevent this from happening. Your task as an ambassador of Christ is to preach the good news and share the gospel, that others might hear the truth, be saved, and be counted worthy to escape the hour of temptation that is coming to test the whole world. In Revelation 3:10 we are told, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.